Texas. Thank you for joining us. We are today somewhere over the rainbow talking about becoming a guru's agent, career-minded. So yesterday we were talking about what it takes to become a guru's career agent. Jacob and I were brainstorming about some ideas about what it would take, and we kind of, improvised this conversation to where let's make it fun. Let's look at the three major elements of what it takes to be a good agent. You got to have brains, you got to have heart, and you got to have courage. So today I thought we'd talk about brains. Okay? A lot of agents, and I'm going to start here. Usually we talk about, you need to be smart to do this. But I'm going to lead off with what type of people out there that think they're agents are not good agents, that are not using their brains.
I think it's the people that don't get renewals.
Okay, that's one.
But still sell Medicare products.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you got a renewal from selling somebody a car, okay, and you had two options to where you can either sell this person a car and you get paid for every year they drive that car, or you can sell it to them one time and then somebody else gets paid if they keep it or not.
Mm-hmm.
That to me is the portion that I have never been able to comprehend, because you talk about these people, like we interviewed a guy that was going through that too. And where his customer called back in, he called him to talk about Social Security, and his manager messaged him and said, "Get off the phone. You already sold them something." I could never fathom being told to quit talking to a client that you sold. I just don't understand it. And I think that's, we can kind of start there, but in a renewal-based business, giving up your renewals when you start. Because guess what? Somebody else is getting paid on them, and it sure as heck ain't you.
Yeah.
For all that work that you did.
I remember when I first started at my incumbent agency, and I had no idea that that's how it worked. No idea. I come in, I was taught Medicare, I was very gracious for that. And I was told how to sell Medicare products, but there was not even a whiff of how Medicare commissions are paid. I just was told, you're going to make this amount when you sell this amount. And it's like, okay, I can do that. But I had no idea that that's how Medicare, like it's clandestine, it's hidden.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's a lot of the companies, that's the way they make their profit. And, luckily I was able to follow, and you were showing me how, more astutely how commissions work for real. So yeah, I think that's a good start. What do you, going off of that, or if you want to go in a different direction, what are some things, other agents out there that are not using their brains?
Well, gosh, the renewals is the biggest thing right there.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that there's some wisdom needed when you are underwriting somebody, to make sure that if they're going to be your client for life, that you will have somewhere to go later, like if there's more than one company that will work for them, that their condition is chronic or may be worsening over time.
Mm-hmm.
If you can write them in a company where you will have room to move them again later and see if you can save them later.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's a wise move.
Yeah, for me, and I'll let you finish on this point, but for me, underwriting is like painting a picture. Like not just, color by numbers, Bob Ross type painting, but like creating art. Because that is where, one, you get to know the person. And two, I really like to find out that when I submit this application, there is without a doubt they're going to get approved, because I know everything about their health. I know everything about how the application process works. I mean, it takes reps, and I was going to turn it over to you because you're more in the trenches with that now.
Yeah, for sure.
But, you have to use your brains to be a good underwriter.
You guys are actually going to laugh at me. I don't think you have to use your brain a lot to underwrite.
Uh-huh.
You have to be able to have common sense and read. I mean, that's essentially what it is, guys.
Yeah.
Because look, let's take the gentleman that you helped with here that had cancer 11 years ago in treatments, and you were
Right.
asking, he goes back every 6 months for a follow-up. And what I say to you, I go, well, he hasn't been treated in 2 years.
Right.
So it doesn't matter, because a lot of underwriting, it's not just sometimes it can be painting by Bob Ross here.
Right.
And, I've got to get multiple entities involved. I got to make phone calls. I got to figure some stuff out.
Right.
But a lot of it is, can you read an application? Can you read a declinable drug list?
Right.
Can you read an underwriting guideline? You can? Okay. The issue that people run into is because for them, it takes a lot of repetitions to remember everything when it comes to underwriting. But really, people are afraid to take the time.
Yeah.
That's the issue, because everybody wants to get stuff done and they think, oh my God, if I have to read all of this here, this person's going to hang up on me. The lady that I was helping to, that was a referral to me this morning, I even told her, I was like, hey, look, we got a little bit of a special situation here just because of the amount of hydrocodone you're taking. So I'm going to be a little bit more careful. Now, what I'm doing is I'm going through these companies right now, first off looking at health questions, but second off looking at declinable drug lists. So I'm a big talker to myself. You're going to hear me talk to myself. It's just how I have to operate. Now, why do I do that? From the Frank Bryant / Jacob Crotty Medicare supplemental school here is, you know what you're doing.
Right.
You just have to find it, but you don't want silence on the phone.
Right.
So what are you doing? You're just reading things that you're seeing.
Right.
And that's
Right.
what a lot of underwriting is, because guess what? The Aetna questions are the same no matter what. So if I just have them, I know how they're going to ask. Their declinable drug list, it's available in their portal. So guess what you should do? When you look, Control F,
Yeah.
Right.
search for declinable drug list, search for height and weight.
Yeah.
It's underwriting is not hard. There's just a lot of things that you have to check off
Right.
before you make a recommendation, because nothing is worse. And I see this here when people try to use their heart more than their brain here. When they say, yeah, so like you're going to get Mutual of Omaha and everything like that. And they never went and got medications. They never asked height and weight.
Oh.
They went through all the health questions. Everything is good to go. And then it comes time in the application to put in height and weight, and they raise the premium.
Yep.
Because they might be a little bit too thick. Or you put in a drug and turns out that drug is on the declinable list.
Yeah.
You're just spinning your wheels doing that. You're not learning as you go. Because I'm pretty sure I can rattle off the medical health questions, the Aetna health questions, and mutual health questions without even looking. And I know how they treat certain conditions, and I know majority of the declinable drugs that are in there. Now, every company is different, sure, but a lot of underwriting is just, hey, I have 3 documents in front of me: a blank application, a declinable drug list, and an underwriting guideline. How do I know I'm making the best decision? Well, can you go through the application and answer no? You can. You're already 90% there.
Right.
Are they taking any declinable drugs? No, they're not. We're 95% there.
Right.
Is there any conditions in the underwriting guideline or any height and weight issues that are restricting you? No? Okay, 100%. You're good.
Do you teach your agents that work with you that routine?
Yes, there is so much where when I teach agents, this is kind of how I had to teach Penny too. I want you to figure out on your own.
Right.
Because I'm not always going to be available. I'm not always going to be there. And sometimes where it's, a simple question or just kind of space out a little bit, you're going to have to find it out for yourself. Because if you don't find it out for yourself, you're never going to fully learn it. And you can't, in this industry, you cannot be dependent on somebody else for your own success. It is ultimately you. That kind of goes back to the courage portion we talked about,
Right.
but it also deals with the brains too, and why I've got so much on this subject here. Because a lot of what we do is not hard.
No.
It is common sense. Like we were just doing an application where somebody got stuck on here. They were going from an Advantage to a Plan G for January 1st. And they got stuck on are you replacing your Medicare Advantage plan? And they go, well, no, we're not. And then they're getting the app. And I was like, why does it say guaranteed issue? Like, I don't know. So you go back and look and it says, oh, the replacement question is, are you replacing this? Or did you involuntarily
Right.
lose it? And they go, no. They just don't want it anymore. I was
Right.
like, that's involuntary.
Right.
And then I go, are they replacing their Medicare Advantage plan? They put no. And I go, well, they can't keep it. So that's a yes. And they go, well, they're not getting another Advantage plan. I go, I know. They're getting a supplemental plan.
And I bet the question actually says, and I remember it, are you replacing your Medicare Advantage plan with other coverage?
So this job,
Right.
it's not the underwriting, the brain portion of it, it's not hard.
Yeah.
But you need to know when you're either, to put it blatantly, getting screwed or you're screwing yourself over.
Yeah.
Because to go back to the beginning, we talked about where you get a majority of the money that companies make from this and agents make from this, it is in renewals.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It's not in upfront money. It's not a gold rush where you get in and get out. Sure, this is the time of year where a lot of people hire people to get in and then get the heck out December 8th or April 1st when Advantage enrollment's over. But people, they just don't see that, oh, wow, I get paid for not having to do anything. And you're telling me I can get paid to not have to do something and still go out and do something. And then in a year from now, I get paid more on stuff I don't have to do. Wow, that makes so much sense. That's the keeping yourself from getting screwed. But then the people as well, too, when you look at underwriting, health conditions, applications, every single question can be answered. And this is what I've been really teaching the guys this week here. You need to read what's in front of you. And before you come to me for a question, you need to ask yourself, number one, do I just need to reread this or read it out loud? Because a lot of times when they ask me questions, I go, okay, read the question out loud. And they read it out loud and they go, I still don't know. And I go, read it out loud again. Just having the common sense to go, okay, I see where I'm having an issue. But to wrap it up, and this is something I went over to before we hopped in here, where I had somebody come up and say, hey, I've been making 80, 90 calls today, I haven't got anybody on the phone. And I go, okay, well, how many people have picked up? They're like 3 or 4. And I go, and what happened? I go, well, they hung up on me. I go, was it you? Well, I don't know. I haven't been getting in touch with anybody. I go, well, no, you had 3 or 4 people pick up, and what did they do? They hung up on me. All right, is it you? And they didn't even think to think that.
Mm-hmm.
That just baffles me.
It is tough.
It baffles me that to where you look for number of dials and stuff like that because that's what shows effort. But at the end of the day, there you have to have that self reflection and go, maybe I suck.
Right.
Maybe that was a terrible intro. Maybe I don't know as much of this underwriting thing as I think I did.
Right.
Maybe I need to actually study this outside of work.
The thinking is that especially new agents, because I was guilty of it when I first started, until I realized that it was me, was that when I had those 90, 100, 150, even 200 dials, we talked about this last week, it was there was a couple people that picked up, but then they weren't interested. Well, that's part of your job, is to figure out how to talk to them. Now, there's no guarantee that you could do a deal, but you can't walk into this job and think, oh, when you pick up the phone, these people are going to be like, hello, yay, let's talk. There'll be some of them,
Right.
but the majority of them are not. So you have to learn how to talk to these people. It's like what Brandon says, you got to frame the conversation in the first 30 seconds. You got to frame it. People are already going to be on the defense. Like, what do you want? Who are you and what do you want? So if you're like, hi, this is Stephen Griffin, Medicare Gurus. I would love to talk to you about Medicare. They're going to be like, click. That's why when Frank told me about this, it's like, you have to do it like this. When you first pick up the phone, just be like, hey, this is Stephen Griffin, Medicare Gurus. How you doing today? Right then and there. They're already going to be like, okay, this person is not trying to sell me something right away, which is the opposite a lot of these incumbents are doing. Like, get in there, overcome the objection, get in there, Yeah. But the majority, you're trying to have natural conversations with these people. And a lot of times they don't understand that the call process, the whole process, it goes through wavelengths. It's not just, hey, we're going to find out their health information in the first 2 minutes,
Right.
Or they're going to say, I'm not interested in the first 10 minutes. That's fine. Of course you're not interested because we've only been talking for 10 minutes, you know? So like, let's talk and figure out why you're not interested, you know? And
sorry, I just gotta tell you, one of my favorite, like little, when I get real sassy, like I was a little sassy this morning, when people immediately, when they're like, first 2 minutes, like, I'm not interested. And I go, in what?
right.
Like in what?
Yeah.
What are you not interested in?
Yeah.
We're like, whatever you're selling. We're like, I'm not.
Right.
I haven't even talked to you.
Right. Did you say that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then people are like, oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you know, it goes back to, I did a dojo myself about dealing with like people that are kind of like that are very abrasive and how to
Right.
deal with them. But like in that case there, where they're like, oh, I'm not interested. And I'm like, in I didn't offer you anything.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
And people are just taken back by it.
Yeah, they are.
They are. You know, kind of piggybacking off what you said, you know, we did some training here this morning because since I was out for a few days, I noticed some things kind of slipped and we're not doing some of the things that we should be doing. So like pulled the guys in and I was like, look, we're going to go through our discovery questions.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we're going to do. And we're going to go through each question in the script. And we're just going to go around the room and I'm going to say 1, 2, 3. We're going to go all the way 1 through 8. Okay. We're going to see if we can get it right. And we were in here for like 35 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, what's going on, guys? This is an every single call situation. Right. There's no difference. And then to go out there and me knowing we just did this, I got a referral call in. What do? I turn and tell all of them, hey, watch me. Mm-hmm. Okay. Very first question. All right, Rita, you were referred to me over from your friend that I work with, and you have she told me a little bit, you have an Advantage plan, but you want a supplemental plan. Let me learn about you first here.
Right.
Okay. How long have you been on Medicare?
Mm-hmm.
Did it start when you turned? Yeah, it started when I turned 65. Okay. Next question. Who do you have for your Medicare health coverage? Oh, I've had this Humana plan since. Great. Mm-hmm. Does that cost you anything? Do you like it? Going through. Okay. Next. Who do you have for your final expense policy? Okay. Along with that Advantage plan, did you have a hospital indemnity plan? Because if you do, you don't need that with the Plan G. Okay, go from there. Dental, vision, and hearing, it's included in your plan, right? Okay, is that something that you want to continue on that we need to look at? Okay, from there, it's covering your drugs. Let's go over your drugs. Okay, what doctors do you have? Okay, what medications are you taking? All right, here's 5 health conditions. Let me know if any of these populate. And then do you have anything upcoming? Any surgeries, appointments, whatever it is? Boom, done. And done. And guess what? That happens every single phone call. Mm-hmm. And it's because I can logically say, if I just repeatedly do this over and over again and use my brain and get it ingrained, I never have to look at that sheet of paper ever again. I never do, because it is exactly what I do every time. And if you do it every time, you never forget it. Mm-hmm. You don't. If you go through those questions religiously and you follow everything the same, like the prepared statement, I can do that off the top of my head. Because I've had to do it 1,000 times right. At least. That's just with the sales. That's not even with the non-sales. Yeah. But it's having that mentality, you know, kind of like you said too, where I hate it when people come in and they have immediate success because they think, oh, this is easy. Oh, I can kick my feet up here. This is easy. The hell it ain't. Yeah. It is not. And, you know, you might have just had a good run of luck and just the right people picked up. But once you hit a little bad spot, you're not going to have the brain power to realize, okay, maybe I'm at fault here. No, it possibly can't be me. I sold 10 last week. I can't be the reason why I'm not selling. Yeah. Preposterous. It's the leads. It's the weather outside. It's nobody's picking up. It's none of that. It's when you first started, and this is especially for new agents here too, when you first start, you need to spend hours on the phone with everybody you talk to. It doesn't matter if you talk about Medicare or not, because you're at least getting comfortable. You are turning off the anxiety in your brain and going, okay, I can just talk to people. That's it. Now, you might not make a lot of sales in the first portion of it, but you're going to slowly turn off that, oh my God, I can't do this, or I can't start a conversation, or I can't call somebody and have them pick up, and when they're mad, I can't talk to them. I'm too afraid. You're slowly getting rid of that. And then you can move on to the next part. We're okay. I did my intro. Intro is good. What do I need to focus on next? Maybe my discovery. And go from there. And just work your way through. And then this is my end of the soapbox here. I saw this online or something. One guy put it just fantastic. He goes, if you're not working with your upline, if you're not asking them for assistance, why are you even doing this job?
Mhm.
Because you have an asset there that is with you, that is willing to help you, that has insightful things to say, that might have training videos, might have scripts for you, might have all this other stuff. But when you start struggling, you go, I don't need anybody's help. I can do it myself. You know, your upline is one of the most valuable things to you. And for especially newer agents out there, you need to realize that. Now, don't be, I won't say annoying. You know, it's okay. You can ask questions. But there comes a point to where we have to do this with some people on the floor here too, where you have to stop them and go, look, I can't do everything for you because you're never going to learn. And if I continue to do everything for you, the day that you are dependent on yourself fully, you are not going to succeed because you've had everything done for you. That's a whole lot of, sorry, that was a little Jake Cryer rant there.
It was. It's nice.
You got me
You're
going.
using your brain.
You got me going.
Using your
Yes.
brains. Using your brains. So we got a little bit of time left. I want to end this with potential
Mhm.
agents who are contemplating wanting to do this. Residuals, underwriting, all this stuff is integral to being a successful agent. But what do you say to somebody that they're using too much of their brain depending on immediate income and depending on, I need to pay bills, and using their brain to logically say, I need that security?
I mean, first off, if they have that mentality, then that kind of goes back to when we talked about courage, but those are people that are never going to take a shot on themselves ever.
Yeah.
It's you just never are. They are going to be run-of-the-mill agents if they are. If they do have a side job or something like that, or they focus on something else, they're never going to be great. Because, you know, think of it, you know, talk about sports here. If I told you, look, from the age of 10, if you committed every day of your life to playing baseball, you can play shortstop for the Phillies and have Chase Utley as your infield partner.
Ooh.
Okay. But you have to commit every day. You can't go swimming. You can't hang out with your friends.
I can't go out on dates.
Can't go out on date. You're 10, remember here.
Well,
You
I'm
can't-
thinking in the head, like when I get in my
But,
teens.
yes, but you know, you can't do any of this here. This has to be your sole focus. But if you put your focus into this, you are going to be a Major League Baseball player. There's a reason that there's only a certain percentage of athletes that go professional.
Yeah.
You know, with NCAA, it's like 0.01% or whatever it is. But there's a reason, because you have to be cut different
Yeah.
than everybody else.
Yeah. And it's even less in basketball
Mhm.
because you only have a roster of 12.
Mhm.
You know, I was watching a video the other night about the percentage of people trying to make it to the NBA and how difficult it is.
Mhm.
You know, and it does take that commitment. You know, I don't know if you've probably watched it as many times as I have, but I don't know if you grew up during The Last Dance. Do you remember The
Yes.
Last Dance?
Yes, I watched the documentary
Oh,
multiple times.
so good. But it talks about how dedicated Michael Jordan was.
Mhm.
I mean, people think that he was talented, and he was, but that guy was just relentless in the gym, and he was relentless on the court, like just working out. And you have to have that, you know, that Mamba mentality that Kobe Bryant had. You got to have, people think that that is a gimmick, or people think that that is a brand, but it's a reality. You know, you do have to use your brain and say, okay, I'm going to dedicate myself. And what's funny is that you and I can both see the agents that come and go in this place. You probably know which ones are going to stay and which ones are going to go within the first day. The first day of their behavior, you know? Like, I remember my first day, I didn't think I got out of my chair once. I went up to go eat lunch and go to the bathroom for 5 minutes, and I came back and I was like, I am going to do this There's nobody that is going to get in my way except me. And that was my issue, is that I always got my own way. It's like, come on, Grip, you're almost there. Just get out of your own way. I was told that so many times. But that's fixable.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sitting in that chair every day, making phone calls, learning about my craft. And I see people walking around, taking lunches, goofing around. It's like, nope, you ain't going to make it.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to say, I just couldn't figure it out. It's like, you could figure it out. You just chose not to.
And that's the issue with a lot of people, is it's that security that they won't take a chance on themselves,
Mm-hmm.
that they are too afraid to.
Yeah.
That they don't think they can do it. That's why we go back to people switching jobs and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
Immediately when they say, like, the one person that I heard you talking to, and you were explaining like why they do salary and then rip away your renewals, and they're like, well, that sounds better to me.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just, is anything going on up there?
Right.
Because you are the perfect candidate for those people to pull you away.
Right.
Because guess what? All your hard work, one of the guys we interviewed that did in like 2 weeks, he did like 50 policies, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, man, that's really good for just telesales. And you're doing that there. Now they might be all decent in plans. We don't know. And then they don't stick or anything like that because they're just flipping them. But, that's terrific where, you get a little bit of money on the side. If you're doing 50, in 2 weeks, and AEP is what, 7-8 weeks? We'll just say 8 weeks, make it an easy number. So you're doing 200 in AEP.
Mm-hmm.
Within 5 years, even if you get those to stick for 2 or 3 years, what do you think your residual income is going to be with 1,000 policies?
He wouldn't have to work.
Where you can work if you want to,
Right.
but
Yeah.
to make it 2,000,
Right.
and that's the goal. But
Yeah.
you don't have that foresight for it.
Yeah.
Because all you can see now is, I need money now. I need assistance now. I have bills now. And they go, that's terrific, but you're never going to build up your own self-worth, your own self-value, if you are worrying about, I have bills today. I have bills today. There comes a time and place for it. God bless my wife. We are now, what's today? 65 days of marriage here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This morning was almost a line. And it wasn't because of the Hootie thing.
Yeah.
That she said, she said she hates Hootie and the Blowfish. I know, exactly. She said it right before we went to bed, and then
You couldn't. I bet
Was she already mad at you?
And then we woke up. No, because I play a song Grip story. It was like we were watching songs on YouTube, and I played a Hootie song. She's like, I gotta tell you something. She's like, I just hate them. I was like, what? She goes, you just play them so much. And so then woke up the next morning. She's like, are you still mad at me? And I was like, yes. But this morning it is almost 65 and done here, because so Miller got sick again, right?
Right.
And they were just going to do a quick run a poop test, just make sure everything's okay. Well, I guess she called and told them that. So they're going to do 3 series of X-rays. This is all from the Acorns. 3 series of X-rays. They're going to do an IV injection. They're going to do kidney and liver tests. And she called in and requested all this stuff. And I just get an email from them that says estimate. And I go, why are they sending me an estimate? Like, this ain't my truck.
Yeah.
It's like I don't have to sign off for you to fix an air compressor or a fuel line or whatever it is here. And I look, and it's over 4 figures.
Wow.
And I go, what?
Yeah.
Right.
And I go, what? Where did all this come from? She goes, well, I told them I wanted to check while he's still there. And I go, oh, okay. So you're saying in a matter of less than a week, from Friday to now Tuesday, we're $1,400 in the hole for tests on this dog. She was like, yeah. And I'm like, but it didn't have to be $1,400.
Right.
Doesn't have to, but now it is. Okay. So guess what I'm doing when I already know I'm negative $1,000 today? When I come in, I know I got to sell some shit.
Right.
Okay. like coming in here.
Yeah.
If you guys, I've been like agitated all morning, and it's because I haven't had time to get to my own stuff.
Yeah.
Because people are asking me, not you, Penny, other people are asking me dumb questions.
Yeah. We might want to
And
wrap
I'm
this
like-
up then, so we can get you on the phone.
And I'm like, I don't have,
Right.
and I'm like, I'm already negative.
Save
1,000.
Miller will have to do a
I'm 1,000 in the
fund.
hole for today already. I don't
Yeah.
have time to be answering why rainbows are different colors.
Yeah.
You know, you
It's
have
the
a brain
it's
to
a
use.
refractory.
Yeah.
refractory
But
light.
you have a
Right.
brain where you can research something and figure it out on your own.
Yeah.
And if you have a question, read into it.
Yeah.
Google it. Research it. You don't have to ask the person everything.
Yeah. Use your brain.
right.
But
Use your brain.
that's my mentality for today.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you have to kind of see that too, where I'm already 1,000 in the hole. I got to sell something.
Yeah.
Answer your phones, people.
Yeah. Let's end there. Use your brains, people. If you are looking for a position and you are on the fence because of how you make money for this position, watch this video or call us here and we can answer those questions and we can talk about how it works here, because this is going to be something that's going to be the way of the future. So Jacob, Penny, thank you so much. Tomorrow we'll talk about having heart for this job and why we do what we do. So thank you guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, and Grip is out. Thank you guys.